Hello and welcome back to a Clear and Obvious podcast. As you can see, this is a bit different. I'm Archie.
I'm Sam.
And yeah, we're back with the full English. We're in the same room for the first time in what, 6 months?
Yeah, like so
It's
long.
not too bad. So yeah, we're in the same room, and it's nice. You know, it's nice to be back in person.
Lovely.
So yeah, we'll crack straight on. Yes, that is right. We are back with a full English. And as we said, yeah, in the same room, which is, it's a real privilege. So it really is. But why don't we just get straight into it? Because we got a lot of Premier League and English football action to get through. So let's just go straight into it. As usual, we'll do our Premier League overview. We'll do our EFL watch, state of this, always a bit feisty.
Fun.
And then yeah, we'll get straight into the FPL essentials. So let's get straight into it. The first Saturday game was Everton versus West Brom. Another low-scoring affair to start this Premier League season. Just the 7 goals, 5-2. What did you make of it?
It was a very decent game. I thought Everton came into the game just with the best midfield Everton has ever seen. I mean, it's one of those games where the fans, if they were there, they'd have loved it. They'd have got their tickets worth. They'd have got a good viewing. So, but yeah. It was a great game, but West Brom went into the lead with Dean. Garner scored, but then Everton kind of started trying. Calvert-Lewin equalised, and Rodriguez put them in front of the break. But Kieran Gibbs,
What a baller.
he got a bit angry. Rodriguez came in a bit late after a tackle, and he just thought he'd hit him in the face.
Little left right good night from Kieran Gibbs.
He thought it was Anthony Joshua. Got a bit confused, but he got a straight red for that. But West Brom then equalised after the break. They still kept fighting with their only good players, Pereira and Dean Garner. But then then Everton kind of started motoring with Keane getting a goal, then Calvert-Lewin get a second, Calvert-Lewin get a hat-trick. And brilliant win for Everton. A few question marks defensively maybe after looking so solid on the opening day, but yeah, they look great, and West Brom could be in trouble.
They certainly could be in trouble. Yeah, as you say, there, Dean Garner and Pereira giving them some hope, because they are probably they're only 2 good players.
Yeah,
Jake Livermore isn't terrible, but yeah, that's not really good enough to stay up.
No.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we can't ignore him. He had a brilliant game. He was awesome. And do you reckon there's a shout of England's call up there? A hint of one?
Well, if Tammy Abraham can, he got called up to see previous squad. I definitely think it's in with a shout. It depends really on form. Well, not that Southgate really goes off form, but it really depends if Southgate likes it. That's all it really
played
goes.
for Villa before, it's a yes. So no, it's overall 5-2 win for Everton. They've started off red hot. They might win the league. So,
Champions League though, serious question. There is the possibility.
I genuinely reckon there's a decent chance they're getting Champions League. I wouldn't put it past them. Ancelotti with that squad, he turned Dominic Calvert-Lewin from what I thought was a very subpar striker in the Premier League to be free scoring, looking quite good, looking pretty lively. I mean, actually, he's working miracles. So, they certainly can get Champions League.
I think they're a centre-back away from Champions League.
Yeah, they probably are, but they're looking at a couple, aren't they? So they're in talks with a few, but whether they'll get it before the deadline, who knows? But let's move on. Let's move on to
another 7-goal.
another 7-goal ball game. So Leeds won 4-3 against Fulham. What were your thoughts on this?
We're defensively shocking. There's no 2 ways about it. I thought when Leeds went 4 up, I genuinely thought it was going to be like 6 or 7. To be quite honest. Then Mitrovic and Decordova-Reid scored. Decordova-Reid scored, which is amazing. Well, I couldn't believe it. But the only real highlights of Fulham were Mitrovic was decent, and Anguissa, man of the match for me.
Brilliant.
He was fantastic. He's a top 6 midfielder. I genuinely think the only
off of one
he's off of two performances.
Oh, so for 2 games. Brilliant.
No, but
2 games.
I genuinely think the only teams he couldn't get into is Liverpool and maybe City. I think he get to every other team.
Off of 2 games of football.
No, off of Villarreal, Lone Spell.
Oh right, you watched a lot of Villarreal, did you?
I know it's playing well for him.
I was going to say, you watched a lot of Villarreal,
yeah, mate, I watched loads of Villarreal.
I was just going to say, he looked very good, but jumping the gun and getting into every team bar the top 2.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, okay. But you lost. Let's look at that. You lost 4-3.
No idea.
Leeds, look, they're just kamikaze football. It's hilarious to watch. It's brilliant. I love Bielsa playing that style of play. He's got Bamford scoring goals, which is slightly worrying. If he can keep it up, I still have my doubts, as hopefully does everyone, after seeing him in the Championship last year. But if Bamford does get 15 goals this season, we're going to look like Warwick Wallies, because we've just slighted him on this podcast. But yeah, no, overall, Leeds, they held Acosta. He looked pretty good. Click, he was brilliant. Also brilliant for my fantasy team. So that's a win, really. But yeah, defensively, again, questions over both sides. It's just Leeds are a bit free scoring, and I've got a bit more quality than you going forward. Just a bit.
Yeah, it's funny how we were all big. We were slating Bamford, but bigging up Koch and Rodrigo. Rodrigo got subbed off at half time after a rubbish forward, and Koch has given away like 2 penalties in 2 games, and they just played terribly in both of them.
Basically, just don't listen to us.
Don't.
All right, just we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, not ideal, really.
No, it's not. No, I reckon they still will come good. Robin Koch's got to come.
He will come good. Give him time.
It's just he's had a terrible start. And yeah, Rodrigo hasn't had the best of starts. I feel it was a bit harsh on him to be brought off half time, to be honest, because he didn't actually have a bad game.
But Bielsa's just cutthroat.
He really is, yeah. Yeah, anyone playing like below a 7,
even
that's
it. He's out about
I wouldn't be surprised. Just ruin his confidence.
Exactly.
Let's move on to the next game in this Saturday set of fixtures. Bit of a turn up for the books. Man United losing 3-1 to Palace. It was a bit of a strange one, this, because I kind of went into this game thinking that Palace had a pretty decent chance. But just because United, they haven't strengthened massively in the window. I mean, they've still got Tellers potentially coming. They've bought in Van de Beek, but he didn't start, or did he come on at any point? I think he came on at the end, didn't he?
Got the goal.
Oh, he did, yeah. He came on and scored, yeah. I sort of forgot about that, yeah. Yeah, there we go, he did come on. But yeah, no, I mean, Palace just ran riot, really. Zaha is back to looking pretty good. He had a season off, and he's back to looking pretty good. But yeah, what were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I thought Palace were great. It's weird seeing a Palace team look good going forward. It's very rare, but
Hodgson free-flowing football.
Oh, it's incredible. It's fluid football, really is. Tiki-taka. But yeah, for some reason, Palace looked great before they said Zaha looks great. Townsend played well.
He was brilliant, yeah. Jeffrey Schlupp as well, he was brilliant.
After a shocker on the opening day where he completed 1 pass.
He had an absolute stinker, a bit of a bounce back, Old Trafford.
Yeah, a bit. But yeah, Man United still questions defensively. I mean, Maguire and Lindelof both poor. Wamsak was alright, sure, meh. I mean, De Gea actually had a good game.
Yeah, he did. He had a couple of ropey moments with his feet early on, sort of outside his box, playing around with that. No, he did look a little bit shaky. I still think Henderson needs to be the number 1, especially after his performance against Luton. I mean, it was Luton. That's going to sound stupid.
He made one great save.
Well, exactly, and it doesn't matter really who's shooting. It's just, whether you're saving them. And he is. So, yeah, no, it was a bit of a weird one. But no, Palace looked very good. Start checking Kuyata at centre half. That was a bit of a weird one.
Sacco.
What a centre half there. Man United just couldn't break him down.
That's the second time they've started Kuyata at centre back.
Is it?
They started centre back first half of the season as well.
That's fair enough.
It was poor. I mean, with Fernandes, Pogba, and McTominay midfield, it's embarrassing that their main creative threat was McTominay. I mean, it's terrible.
It really is. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I love it with McTominay. Out of those two, Fernandes and Pogba being like, who's going to be creating the shots, creating the goals? Scott McSauce coming in with a beautiful ball. But yeah, no, overall, United should slow. I'm not necessarily worried about them this year, to be honest with you. They haven't really strengthened, but I think they'll take a little while to get going. We're still not convinced by Solskjaer. No, haven't been at all at any point. But yeah, it's an experiment that I think needs to come to an end. Yeah, but there needs to be an excuse to sack him. I think. Yeah. I think if they have a bad start, it can't just be off like a couple of games. It needs to be off like a maintained bad start that he gets sacked. But yeah, let's we're just discussing how he's going to lose his job. Let's move on to the Arsenal West Ham game, which is the last game of the Saturday. Arsenal taking the deserved 2-1 win. No, it wasn't. We were shocking. But it's good to see, actually, because even when we play badly, if we're able to grind out a win, admittedly it was West Ham, But a back three of Gabriel, Holding, and Kolasinac isn't going to really. I mean, even against West Ham, who are going forward not the most creative, is never going to fill you with too much confidence, and it certainly didn't. Yeah, Lacazette getting the first goal. Beautiful cross from Aubameyang on his weak foot. Really good cross. Well. Yeah, deserving my fantasy football pick, especially as I triple captained him. Don't worry, not wasting triple captain at all, guys. One assist.
Yeah, let's start,
but yeah, no, we didn't really dominate much of the game, to be perfectly honest with you. Antonio then scored. He just bullied Rob Holding out of existence for that goal. And then Nketiah sort of tapping at the last minute, managed to seal the win for us. But again, it's similar to the Chelsea-Brighton game where they weren't the better team for really any of the game and still managed to win. Yeah. We've done the same in this game. So he's just trying to grind out wins because you can't be the better team in every game, otherwise you win the league. And let's be real, we're not going to. So we need to just be able to put a consistent run of fixtures, a consistent run of wins and results together when we're not the better team. And we didn't look too bad. West Ham, much improved on last season, despite I still think they'll go down. I'm still maintaining they'll go down. But the first two games, I think they've lost both. But that's the thing, though. They've looked better, but they still have lost both. That's the worrying thing, because they've looked improved on last season, but still haven't got a result out of either game. What were your thoughts on this one?
Arsenal didn't play well, to be honest. But then you started Kolasinac and Holding in defence. Now I don't think that's ever going to really end well.
No.
You just, I don't know, West Ham kind of dominated most of the game. Made a lot of chances, hit the bar, which I'm sure they've hit the bar like 5 times.
They definitely have.
They're just woodwork merchants. I mean, it's quite ridiculous. But yeah, defensively went great. West Ham were a bit more creative than against Newcastle, but they just lacked that in product. Arsenal, you grind out a win. It's a good result against a team that will be fighting towards the bottom of the league. I think they'll be fine. But yeah, it was an interesting one, and it was a good win for Arsenal.
Yeah, no, 3 points, that we needed to take with our run of fixtures coming up. It's criminal. Yeah. The fixtures we've got next, it's with City, Liverpool, Chelsea. It's all within like a 6-game span, so it's going to be fun. But let's move on to the Sunday games. Another boring 7-goal game at St Mary's. A 5-2 win for the visitors Spurs. Heung-min Son's pretty good, isn't he?
He's not bad.
He's not a bad little player. Yeah. No, he got a hat trick? Was it in the end? He got 4 assists for Harry Kane. He got 4. Yeah, Harry Kane got 4 assists.
Yeah.
I didn't think Harry Kane in the majority of games he's played. I've always thought of him purely as a goal scorer, but in this game he's shown that he does have the ability to be that creative striker as well as that sole goal scorer, which I've never really been convinced with him by. But this game he's proved that, and Spurs, despite going 1-0 down, came back at 1-5-2. So fair play to them, to be honest.
Yeah, I was listening to, I think it was Carragher or Mike Rich. I think it was Jamie Carragher talking about on Sky Sports, and they were talking about they think he'll go through the same transition as Sheringham did at Tottenham. So he was the main goal scorer, but as he gets older, he drops off a bit and becomes more of a creator, like it was for England in '96 with Shearer being the main goal scorer. But he really shows creative ability. Really, some great passing. Son looked very good. Son's just ridiculous.
Because the Southampton were playing quite a high line, and Son just torn to shreds every time in behind. It was like he didn't learn. I'm sure you think after the first 2 goals where he just ran in behind you, he might drop a little bit off of him, but no.
Yeah, defensively they're very confused because they played quite a high line.
Yeah.
But then Kane would get the ball and take a touch, and they'd drop back, and it would be like, no, you need to get on that touch. You need to hassle him. You need to make sure he can't turn and play a through ball to Son. And Southampton just have a lot of problems defensively.
They really do. One of them being Oriol Romeu. He's absolutely dreadful.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always sort of that player that's kind of never really talked about for being how bad he is. Yeah. But I mean, you look at who's binned off by Chelsea. Southampton have picked him up as supposedly their stopper in midfield, the one that breaks up play. He doesn't do any of that. He just fouls people. So he's pretty terrible. But Southampton, they've got a lot of worries. Ings getting a goal. Yeah, so I mean, he's still goal scoring. So he will be the only reason that they might have a decent. Him and Hasenhüttl will be the only reason that they have.
Che Adams still can't hit a bond, or I mean, he is the reason that XG is so high. He just can't put the ball in there. I don't know if he's a terrible finisher or if he's really unlucky.
Yeah,
It's like
he might be a combination of two.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind him actually. I think he's a decent
Yeah,
player, but
he's
it's just his
just
finishing
decent.
does leave a bit to be desired.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If he could finish, he'd be one of the best players for every league.
He
I mean,
would he'd be in course for a Ballon d'Or, the amount of chances he gets. But yeah. No, overall, they did struggle, Southampton. I do worry about them because there are a lot of people's picks that did quite well this season, and they just need anyone.
Their replacement, it looks like, for Ramey that they've identified as Tom Davies from Everton.
Oh right, I've always been a slight under the radar Tom Davies
I'm not
fan.
Sure.
I always thought he was pretty lively in midfield, pretty decent player.
Brexit,
Is it Brexit? I thought it was the complete opposite.
What do you mean?
How's he Brexit?
I don't know. It just reminds me of a kind of Evertonian, like, tough tackling.
Really? What, with his long curly hair?
Exactly.
But I thought that'd be the opposite.
Nah,
Of Brexit. It's more golden retriever
not
than
looking
Brexit.
like, but like his place.
Oh right, okay. I thought he would look like, because I was going to say he wanders around in like.
He's more of a Burnley midfielder, I feel like.
Yeah, that's probably a fair assessment. See, there we go. Tom Davies is a Burnley midfielder. So don't sign Dale Stevens, sign Tom Davies.
Exactly.
But yeah, overall, Southampton looking ropes. Spurs actually coming good, scoring 5 goals under Mourinho, which is an interesting one because that doesn't often happen. Yeah, let's move on to the next game. Newcastle-Brighton. Brighton winning 3-0, running a bit rampant against a pretty disorganised Newcastle, I'd probably call it. Neil Maupay. He's quite good. Yeah, I think he's a very good player, Neil Maupay, and I really like him. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, no, it was Brighton again looked great. I mean, this game they actually got the result they deserved for a really good performance. Lamptey again. I mean,
he's unbelievable.
He's so good, but I'm so worried he's going to keep getting injured because he got a knock from the last game. Yeah. People just kick him.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like the only way we could bring him, we could stop him is kicking him. Now, he won a penalty off that.
Yeah.
I mean, throughout the game they were just like drop kicking him, trying to drop kick him into the stands. But yeah, Lamptey again had a blinder. Defensively, they look great as always.
They've recovered since the Chelsea game. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, they could England could have a whole Brighton back four.
Literally good, yeah.
You'd have Bird at left back, dunked either Webster or White.
Yeah.
And then we get Lamptey right back. Yeah. Just get them all in. But, Newcastle on the other hand, St Maximin going off injured and how
real worry.
Yeah, very big
massive worry for them. Yeah.
They didn't really create anything. Wilson looked all right going behind, but wasn't great.
Field of scraps, he really was. There was very little chances for him at all in that game. No, especially with Sam Maximin going off. It's like going off injured, especially. I mean, is there any word on if that's a long-term injury at all?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but if it is long-term, then Newcastle a little bit screwed because he's one of their few creative forces.
Fraser's all right.
Yeah, he's a bit lively. I like Fraser. So hopefully it will sort of start coming together for Newcastle because they've got a squad that should be pushing for top half, I think. And Jeff Hendrick, who is Messi. He's come down off his high of getting a goal and assist, being beaten 3-0 at home to Brighton. But it's how it goes. That's how football goes. Newcastle should be doing better than they are, but Brighton overall started very fast.
Yeah, they're just very good.
They really are. Yeah. Let's move on to the next game. A Kepa Arrizabalaga masterclass. It was a 2-0 win to Liverpool at Stamford Bridge, and Liverpool, despite again not looking very convincing. If I'm perfectly honest, I mean Chelsea gave them a lot of the ball, but I wasn't necessarily convinced by them. They didn't look like the Liverpool of last season. I mean, I'm sure they'll get into that form. But yeah, as you say, Kepa just a howler. Mane getting both goals. He was unreal. He's very, very good. Should have. I mean, I'm glad they ended up giving a red card to Christensen because that ended up.
It was a red card.
It was He should have been given. He should have been given without VAR because he was straight through on goal, denying for the goal scoring opportunity. He wasn't even going for the ball.
And comes flying out and just doesn't. I have no idea what he's doing. He's never getting that.
Yeah, Havertz being bought for half time. It happens when you bring some players over from abroad, and they take a while to settle in. So hopefully this is the case with Havertz. He's a very good player. But yeah, Mane getting both goals. The second one particularly was an interesting one. Kepa playing out the back and managed intercepting and then rolling into empty net. Thiago coming off the bench at half time for Jordan Henderson, which is a bit of a weird one. Was he injured? Was he injured? Right, okay. I was going to say that's a strange tactical move to bring off your captain. Would be a bit of a weird one.
Very Bielsa.
Very Bielsa. Very cutthroat, yeah. But overall, I mean, Thiago came on, he was unbelievable. He
Apart
just,
from the penalty
he
he
just
gave away, which was
Yeah.
clumsy, which was unreal. I'm pretty
It
sure he
happens.
only played 45 minutes and completed like one of the most
Yeah.
passes of the game and just ran the game.
Yeah, he completed like 75 passes or
Yeah.
something after he came on, which is
It's
just
like, what?
disgusting. Yeah, no, he was just creating everything.
Yeah.
Salah looked good. Firmino looks okay up top. Yeah, overall, Mane was the one. It's like when if one or two of the front three aren't performing well, the other will step up.
Yeah,
That's the quality you've
yeah.
got there. And then if not, one of the runners from midfield will pop up, like a Wijnaldum, a Henderson, a Thiago now. I mean, they are just stacked. And now they've got Diogo Jota coming in, which another attacking option there. They're going to be pushing for the title. That's obvious. And Chelsea, this isn't for Chelsea this season. They've got so many injuries. Without Ziyech, without Thiago Silva, without Pulisic in this game. I mean, they're without Chilwell as well, without Havertz playing properly. All they've really got is Werner. Yeah, exactly. They're missing a lot of players. So don't judge this Chelsea team of what is now.
You need to give them quite a bit of time.
You really do. But yeah, overall, Chelsea, they didn't look amazing, but it wasn't like they got completely turned over. You know, only a 2-0 loss considering the players they've got out injured, and they were down to 10 men for half the game. Isn't embarrassing.
Someone who really impressed me was Fabinho.
He
He
was
stepped
amazing.
in at centre back and he pocketed Werner.
He really did,
Literally every time he had Werner had Fabinho one-on-one, Fabinho dealt with it every single time. And that like Werner is brilliant. Like he's great on the ball.
And he looks actually pretty bright until Fabinho steps
in.
in.
Then Fabinho was like, no.
Yeah, as long as you ignore the finish that he had to do. It was offside, admittedly, but I'm not sure he clocks that because it's a pretty terrible finish. But he'll get his first goal this weekend because they're playing West Brom. So he's definitely getting his first goal against Billich's side. Now I've said that, they'll go lose 3-0. So don't put me in fantasy.
Pockets.
God, imagine. But yeah, overall, Liverpool looking great. Champions elect. Let's move on to the last game on the Sunday. Another boring game. Just the 6 goals in this one. Leicester-Burnley was a bizarre game. Burnley with neither Tarkowski or me playing, and it showed. It really did. Yeah, it was a strange one. You expect a game where Leicester get 4 goals to Vardy at least have one, but he didn't actually score. So, but yeah, Leicester looked brilliant going forward, despite Vardy not necessarily inputting a lot. And they've still got Cengiz Under to come in. So going forward, I'm not worried about them. Defensively, I definitely am. I'm very concerned about him. James Justin was excellent. He was very, very good. But yeah, no, I'm a little bit worried about him. Dennis Pratt and Tielemans look brilliant in midfield so far. I mean, keeping Maddison out of the team, which we're talking about. Overall, Leicester look very good. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I thought Leicester were excellent. I mean, as I said, Burnley with their little makeshift defence. I mean, that Dunn guy making his debut, he got a goal.
He did, yeah. It was a very good header, actually. Yeah. Considering he sort of stooped down to get it, it was a very good header, yeah.
He looked over the moon with that one, which is great. But yeah, him and Kevin Long were never going to keep a clean sheet, were they?
Wasn't happening.
I mean, Tarkowski and me, well, I'm guessing they're both injured.
Oh, yeah, they're both injured, yeah. One's got a hamstring injury, I think the other's got a calf.
Yeah, that's really not ideal.
At the same time as well. Like, what's that all about? Come on, then.
A bit unfair.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leicester were great. Barnes, brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And as I said, going forward, all their options going forward are very.
Even the Ozzy Perez played well, which is a bizarre one to watch. He's played well in about 6 months. So.
Played well since played Southampton. 1-9-0, but yeah, I'm not as concerned defensively. Personally.
You're not?
No, I think they're fine defensively. I think Mendy playing DM at the moment is very good. What a replacement for Ndidi.
Yeah.
I mean, they just keep somehow they keep popping out with these Kante players.
Yeah.
It's just right, fair. Kante goes, bringing in Ndidi.
Yeah.
Basically Kante.
Yeah.
And then he gets injured. Mendy plays there, basically.
Well,
Kante.
Ndidi plays centre half.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing at centre.
Yeah, that was probably why we looked a little bit shaky with crosses.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the thing. That was the only reason I was concerned with that.
That's why I think
aerially. But yeah, maybe going forward this season they'll be alright. They certainly should be. Of course, their fullback options are actually brilliant. So when Pereira comes back, but even without they got Castagna and Justin, so they're fine. But yeah, no, defensively they should be okay. I do have some concerns over sort of crosses coming into the box, but once the players are back fit, they should be okay. The same with Burnley really. They didn't look terrible, but they never really looked like they were getting back into the game, which is the only problem. But yeah, let's move on to the 2 games we had on Monday. Villa beat Sheffield United 1-0. An Emi Martinez masterclass, as I'll go on to talk about later, because he making his Villa debut and Villa League debut and saving a penalty. I mean, you couldn't write it.
It's the only save he actually made.
Yeah, it was. It's the save he needed to make, but it was a crucial one, realistically. John Egan getting a red card, which is quite ironic actually, because on the Sky Sports app, they did a defensive masterclass with John Egan. And when you go on stories and you go into individual clubs, that's the
Yeah.
story just before Johnny Egan getting a red card, which is just brilliant. But yeah, he got a red card, and then Norwood missed their penalty. Or had it saved by Martinez, which God, both of them in your fantasy team, which a lot of people probably do off the back of last season.
Yeah.
It isn't ideal, but yeah, Sheffield United, I'm concerned. I won't tell a lie. I don't think they're going. I think it's too early, as we're going to talk about, to say they're going to be going down or anything. But they certainly need to pick up some points somewhere because, they're struggling. But Villa are pretty good. A Konza goal. I don't know what the odds were on that one. Because I can't imagine he's got a lot in his career. But yeah, no, fair play. They dragged out a 1-0 win, and my prediction of them to go down might be a bit skew-if because, as we said, they could go down or they could get mid-table. At the minute, again, 1 game in for them. It's looking like they started pretty well.
Yeah, no, Villa look good. I mean, in this game, it did help that the other team were 10 men for majority of the game, but they were definitely probing. Grealish had a few chances which were missed. They were frustrated at times. Just watching the game, there are a lot of times they get the ball at the edge of the box. They just need to shoot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where they're just trying to play it out wide, play through, just have a shot.
Yeah.
New signing wise, Ollie Watkins looked bright.
Yeah, pretty bright.
Got the red card, of course.
Yeah.
Running behind. Yeah, running behind you definitely
Caused so many
solid.
problems. Yeah.
I mean, if Sheffield United hadn't have got the man sent off, then I think he'd had a better game because they just dropped off completely.
Yeah.
And Ollie Watkins is running.
Yeah, when they were playing a slightly high line before he got sent off, he was just field game behind.
Exactly. Matty Cash as well looked really good.
Yeah, he did.
Looked solid. Martinez saving a penalty.
Yeah.
So new signings have had good starts, definitely.
Very good. Yeah.
Bertrand Traore still to come in, who has got to be better than Trezeguet. Trezeguet could come good.
I don't mind Trezeguet. It wasn't bad last season, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, I'd
goal scoring wise, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, goal scoring.
His goal record for them, which can't be said for really any of Villa's players, to be honest. So
performance wise, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter when he's scoring.
Yeah.
Realistically, as long as he can keep scoring, but he's got a place in the team.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I mean, he's no, David Trezeguet, but he's a Trezeguet.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we'll do.
No, it was an interesting one. Villa were better. Sheffield United, they got fast very quickly. Like their counter attack was actually very quick. Like they were unbelievably quick going forward with the penalty, especially. Yeah. Which was an interesting penalty. I haven't seen an angle which is definitive whether it actually was.
Yeah.
But I think it was because there was nothing because the ref gave a penalty. I don't think
clear and obvious.
Exactly. There wasn't a mistake. Like you couldn't positively tell it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they need some more creativity. Definitely. Sheffield United lack a bit of that. And I'm not convinced by strikes. Ollie Burke up front, who couldn't even stop West Brom last season.
Strange,
I don't know why he was starting up front.
I don't get that signing at all.
Yeah,
let alone playing him up top. I mean, bloody hell.
Yeah, Ampadu did really well when he came on. But yeah, other than that, they need some creativity and some end product.
Yeah, I imagine Wilder will be able to keep him up. If I'm perfectly honest,
great.
he should be able to. But yeah, it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, I think my prediction of 16th is.
Yeah, it seems pretty accurate. Yeah, sort of lower part of the table. Yeah. Right, let's move on to the last game of this game week in the Premier League, and then we'll move on to our EFL watch. This was Wolves Man City. Wolves falling 1-3. That's a weird way of putting it. 3-1 loss to Man City. I guess they were home, so that's sort of the way my brain works. But yeah, no, these games over the years have been pretty exciting. I've seen fellas with a 3-2. There's been a sort of 2-1, and they've always been fairly exciting games. And this one didn't necessarily disappoint. I wouldn't say. Man City. First game of the season, De Bruyne still looks ridiculously good, which is good for City fans. He was very good. Ake on his debut, it's a bit shaky. He didn't look terrible. I wouldn't say it was terrible. No, he was competent. I'd say there's something to build him for sure. But yeah, I mean, Wolves still got Semedo now to bring in, and I don't know. They should still be challenging for European spots this year, Wolves, I think. But yeah, City on their first game back didn't look really that rusty, to be honest. What were your thoughts on this one?
I thought it was a good game. Kevin De Bruyne got ruined. His career's now over by Daniel Potter.
He was really good.
He looks really good this season, which really I'm happy about because he's like Pratt last season. He was good last season, but he didn't really show what he's all about. I think this season's the year where he's gonna really show his ability. He is a really good player.
Yeah, he is. Olympiacos was amazing.
He is very good.
Yeah.
He was great. Good Jimenez goal. Wolves were I don't think the Wolves were that bad. They
No,
were
it was
right.
yeah.
Were decent. Though Man City just had a lot of quality.
Yeah.
Foden goal is always good.
Mhm.
I'd like to see him keep scoring.
Yeah,
Sterling assist. Sterling is one of the most underrated
he
players.
really is. He
People
really
don't
is
give him the
underappreciated.
credit he deserved. Last season, he got criticised for having a bad season. He got like 20 goals last season. And it's like,
Well, in 2019, he had the second most goal contributions out of anyone in the world, second to Messi.
Yeah,
It's, I mean,
it's ridiculous. And people saying he had a poor season. I don't see it personally. He didn't deserve
he's honestly one of the best players.
Yeah.
He's not. De Bruyne is clear,
Yeah.
but then he's that next tier
100%.
of players for City because he's unbelievable.
He is fantastic.
There's a reason Guardiola rates him as he does.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Man City look decent. It'll be interesting to see if they make any signings. Koulibaly or Koundé is now.
Koundé's another one that's been named.
Yeah.
I
think they will sign a centre back before the end of the window.
Yeah, they should do.
If I was them, I'd go for Koundé.
Really?
Yeah, I think Koulibaly has that experience, but I think Koundé has that long-term profitability.
Yeah, that's a fair point. But there's not any someone's going to be good now.
I think he will be.
Do you reckon?
I think he was fantastic for Sevilla last
Yeah.
season in the Europa League.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I'd still probably prefer Koulibaly, but either way, I mean, if they get either of those two, they should still be challenging for the league.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd be tempted if I was City to go for a striker, right? Because Aguero is broken. Okay, he is broken.
Yeah.
And Jesus, he scores, but I'm still not convinced by him, if I'm perfectly honest. But beyond that, they don't really have anything up top. And I am, if, say, Jesus picks up an injury, they are really, because Aguero can't be playing like Saturday, Tuesday, for instance. So, when the fixtures start coming thick and fast, I would be very, even if it's only on a loan deal, like just someone that's out there on a loan, like Dzeko, bring him back.
A Lorenzo.
Dzeko, just literally. Anyone, but no, I know what you mean. Literally anyone. I'd be tempted to go out for a striker, if I'm honest, because I'm personally not convinced by Jesus. They clearly are. But even beyond that, I mean, Aguero, hopefully he'll be back in the team. Hopefully he won't get injured, but we can't rely on that because his injury record is so bad. Yeah. And if Jesus does pick up a knock, who do they have? I mean,
they're literally going to end up playing Bernardo Silva as a false nine.
They literally Sterling. They'll ruin Sterling by doing that again, won't they?
Exactly.
Yeah. But let's move on. Let's move on from our Premier League review. Fun Premier League week to watch. It was brilliant fun.
Most goals ever.
It was just, I mean, really, really good. Just goals going everywhere. But let's move on to EFL Watch. And we put in this section, if you haven't seen it before, we do a review of an EFL game and we do a preview of an EFL game. My review of an EFL game, it comes from League One. AFC Wimbledon, they took on the mighty Plymouth Argyle. AFC Wimbledon off the back of a draw to Northampton. They carry that over. They're featuring for the second week running because they drew 4-4, doubling the scoreline against Northampton last time out. It was 4-4, wasn't it? It's a bit mad. Wimbledon, one of the sort of selected teams to go down this year. To be honest with you, they lost Wally Downs due to gambling, and then gambling offences, I think it was. And then Glenn Hodges has come in and he's actually kept his job. Rightly or wrongly, don't really know. But they 4-4 draw with Plymouth, who are supposedly going to be doing quite well this season. Should get sort of mid-table-ish. I mean, they'll be picking up points. They're a fun team to watch, Wimbledon. They really are. They've got this Ethan Chislett lad who's very good in midfield. Just overall a 4-4 draw to keep ticking over in League One. What's your review?
I'm going for Coventry QPR on the Championship.
I recognise that game from somewhere. Was that the one I previewed last week? If you haven't listened to that podcast, our first full English, it'll be in the top corner now. So go and watch it. It's quite good fun. Or just keep watching this one. Do what you want. Carry on.
Just
have to help.
It was a cracking game for two sides that are. They're both very attacking teams. They both play attacking football, so always can be goals in this game. Both teams, I reckon, will be in about mid-table. I don't think any of them really challenge for playoffs, both because they're defensively they're not great. Going forward, they're great, but defensively not so. Like Coventry, Matt Godden continued his form, but Lyndon Dykes put QPR in front. He looks good since coming from Scotland. I didn't really know much about him, but there's police. But didn't really know much about him, but seems to be quite good. Great penalty, just absolutely levered it. Unbelievable. But Godden equalised, and then former Villa prospect Callum O'Hare put Coventry back in front. And then Barbe has scored the closest goal I've seen to the Salah goal against Leeds.
Really?
Who volleyed it. It's basically a carbon
Bloody
copy.
hell.
Where a header, a corner came in. And it was headed out, and he literally just chested out and left foot volleyed to the top right corner. It was the exact same goal, and I was just like, "Yo, man, Barbe."
Is he the French centre half?
Yeah.
Oh, blimey,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Didn't see that one coming. But yeah, then a bullet header from the corner from Kalmet Fazian. I think it's pronounced.
Close enough.
Yeah, got the winner for Coventry, and yeah, a great win, and one of the first battles for like those mid-table, higher mid-table places. Because Coventry have come up under Mark Robbins, and they're really good.
Yeah, they're a championship outfit. That's for sure. 100%. They were last season, and it was just like narrow time before they came up.
Really good signings.
Yeah. Let's move on to what game we're going to preview in the EFL. I'm going to preview a game coming on Sunday. AFC Bournemouth are hosting Norwich. This will be a last season Premier League tie. It's not on TV, unfortunately, so you can't actually watch it. But it'll be a fun game to keep track of. Both pretty exciting teams to watch. Both going to be vying for those playoff positions, potentially automatic promotion positions. And yeah, it should be a very interesting game. 4:00 on Sunday. Be there or be square.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Port Vale against Harrogate. I talked about Harrogate Town last week. They after beating Southend for 4-0. On their first ever game in the Football League, which is pretty crazy. I mean, Southend is terrible, but yeah, still an achievement. But it's second versus third, as Harrogate Town have got 4 points with Port Vale having 6. And it's one of the favourites to go up in Port Vale there against Harrogate Town, who are tipped to be like bottom half of the league, but like not really troubled by relegation. But it's going to be an exciting game. I mean, Jack Muldoon for Harrogate Town is the second top scorer in the league with 3 goals. Harrogate Town scored 6 goals in 2 games, which is pretty mad. Well, but Port Vale haven't conceded yet. So it's going to be an
interesting matchup, yeah.
Exactly. Port Vale won both their games 2-0. So look, Port Vale look very solid, but it'll be interesting because Harrogate Town, despite a terrible outfit, beat Walsall in their second. No, drew 2 to Walsall, who are actually like a decent team who are going to be challenging for playoffs. So it will be a good game with lots of goals, and of course you can catch this game EFL on Quest. We're not sponsored by them yet, but maybe one day.
Maybe. Yeah, that's our AFL watch. Slight conscious of time, so let's just get straight into the state of this. Because we're the state of this, you haven't watched it before, we just rant about stuff, good or bad. I'm going to kick us off with the provisions for fans to be let back in stadiums, be it at the beginning of October, now scrapped. Not really a rant, because it kind of needs to happen. But I don't think the promise of fans and the testing should have ever been done in the first place. That's my hot take. I don't think they ever should have done any sort of testing on fans coming back in, because they should have seen, and this is getting a little bit political here, but there was going to be a second wave coming, and testing fans coming back into stadiums, if you knew there was going to be a second wave coming, why bother? Like, why bother if you can't find a way that's going to safely socially distance fans like you can do in France, Germany, like we're going to be starting doing in Italy, like we're doing in the Netherlands, they've been doing it everywhere. They just can't seem to do it here. And I don't get why. But yeah, that's been scrapped for the next 6 months, it seems, from pretty much, well, are they, I can't work it out. So are they said they were going to do it from, was it tier 3 and below?
No idea. I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, so that's all of non-league, so you can then no longer go to non-league games and sort of social distance there. But I'm not sure what they're planning on doing with the top division. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, it doesn't seem like there's really a plan in place, whereas you were talking about earlier with the plan that France have got to bring fans back in. I don't know, for me, it's bringing them back prematurely, but if you're going to bring them back prematurely, at least have a plan in place. It doesn't just sort of seem like, I mean, you saw there's a dodgy example, but you saw the hashtag game. And don't get me wrong, right, I love hashtag and everything. I did brilliantly up the tags, but no one was even, I don't want to be that Karen, but no one was socially distanced, and it's a pandemic. Like, I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me.
Huge crowd behind the goal, weren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, Jack, mate, what are you doing?
Yeah, Jack, mate.
Yeah, lost cast, right? Calm down, lads. That man Dave is in the wrong. Pick him up. But yeah, my state of this is David Sullivan and West Ham. So David Sullivan went on TalkSport this week to talk about West Ham and transfers and everything. And some interesting things were said. Firstly, I'd say he talked about how he bullied, is the word he used, Pellegrini into signing Issa Diop and Lucas Fabianski because he liked those players.
Blimey.
I'm not really sure.
That's in his job description.
Yeah.
To bully the manager into signing players.
Yeah, but he likes. I mean, how did David Sullivan know who Issa Diop
I
is?
just don't know. He might know the lower regions of French football. I
Yeah,
have no
maybe.
idea.
Yeah, he's been following Toulouse for a while.
Maybe he has been, yeah.
Fabianski, I can kind of understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, Diop's a bit of a.
We're not condoning bullying, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's deals with dodgy signing. Fabianski's pretty good, though.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. He regrets not blocking Pellegrini and Julius, who was there director of football at the time, as transfers, which is, you probably, I don't know. He regrets not blocking transfers. I mean, that's great in hindsight. I bet at the time he was like, oh my gosh, this is great. I love this. And now he's like, oh yeah, I should have blocked him.
Very easy to say.
Exactly.
Hindsight,
It's
isn't it?
so
Especially
easy
when
to
it's
say.
not your decision to make in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, he spent over 170 million just in Pellegrini's spell.
Yeah.
And they almost got relegated last season.
Yeah.
And some of the players they bought with that money. Carlos Sanchez is the main one I want to talk about. He is terrible.
It's shocking.
Jack Wilshere with the injury record he has.
I love him, but he's just not worth the money.
A lot of the players they bought in, just ridiculous. And then they came crawling back to Moyes. I mean, they sacked him in the first place. And then imagine having to go back to him saying, yeah, we sacked you. We didn't mean it. No hard feelings. We want to come back. Then basically blamed all the misery of transfers on Pellegrini and Husilos, which is a bit. He has control of it. It's his money.
Yeah, I don't know. He does seem like he's trying to be on both sides of the argument here, because he's saying, I blocked transfers, I had influence over transfers, but I'm going to blame it on Pellegrini and Julius. It's like, we'll sit on one side of the fence at least. At least be like, I had no influence over transfers, this is all on Pellegrini. Yeah. Or say, okay, we had some influence over this is on us. But in his, I don't think, I'm not sure how much, I mean, obviously this says to some degree how much of an influence over transfers he has. But obviously football clubs normally work with the director of football having the major say and coaches having the major say of transfers. And obviously it's his money, so you have to tick him off and everything. But I can't imagine a world in which he's the one sat there with a laptop on Football Manager going through the best potential players. Like, where's Fabio Silva at? It's like just trying to sign players. I think that's going to be down to the director of football. But the whole ownership of West Ham, it's just all over the place. It really is.
It is a mess. And then the thing that really frustrated me is they were like, we went back to a British manager because we went with a foreign manager, it didn't work. It's one foreign manager out of so many. And you can't just be like, one foreign manager didn't work. So, we'll go back to a British manager.
Is it relevant?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, really relevant. Pellegrini, maybe if you talk about a manager who's never managed in the Premier League before, Pellegrini's managed teams to a title.
Yeah.
I mean, he's won the Premier League. It's not like, we went with some foreign bloke who'd been managing out in Cambodian's 4th division. It didn't work, so we'll go back to David Moyes. He won the Premier League, for crying out loud.
There are more talented managers in Europe than in the Premier League.
And David Moyes is an English, because he's Scottish.
Exactly. It's just frustrating. What's your second?
It is a strange one. My second one is, it's influenced by something I read on The Athletic. It's fans overreacting. It's been 2 games.
Calm down.
They're like, okay, Havertz is a flop according to half of Twitter. Half of Spurs' Twitter were just fuming when they went 1-0 down. They were like, our season's over, Jose, all this sort of thing. Then one came back up on 5-2. I saw one reply that said, this is Jose's best ever performance. I'm sorry, what? But overall, right, it happens every season. So, what we say isn't going to influence anything. But realistically, we need to talk about it because 2 games in, 1 game in for some teams, and the overreactions that are happening at the minute, it's just all over the place. It's, you almost probably have been gone for some time now before the season started. And it's, sometimes as fans we are guilty of sort of, giving our predictions and speaking about them like they're gospel, like they're going to happen. Like there's no variables involved in anything. It's just, that's going to happen because of this. And then when it doesn't happen, I'll make the prediction way back, so it doesn't really matter. But it's 2 games into a season, so let's just all chill out. Havertz is a very good player. Okay, he might not come good. Let's not judge him off for 2 games. There are just a couple of instances where whoever you've signed they're either the next Messi or they're the next Gary Taylor Fletcher. Like, don't know disrespect to Gary Taylor Fletcher, brilliant player, but it's the overreaction that happens after 2 games. It's pretty mad.
Yeah, even over 7 minutes. For example, Leeds United are getting dubbed. Like, Leeds United are great going forwards, but Fulham are woeful defensively. We've conceded the same amount of goals
it's
as
the
Leeds.
same for both. It's just picking a different narrative for either
Exactly.
team. Because Fulham are brilliant going forwards, as are Leeds. Both teams are shaky defensively. That's the way it is. That's just how it is.
The bias to the Leeds narrative is just because they're back in the Premier League after so long, and because they used to be a big club.
That is
Literally, so everyone is just like biased to Leeds. I mean, you'd have thought for the reaction at the weekend against the Fulham game, they won 4-0. They won 4-3. We were in that game.
They nearly bottled that.
Exactly.
They nearly bottled
almost
a 4
bottled that
lead,
game.
which is,
Bobby De Cordova-Reid scored against them.
Let's just chill out, lads, all right?
Exactly.
It doesn't sit right with me for sure.
Yeah.
What's your last one to say?
So I'm talking about Leicester's midfield. You talked about Everton's midfield.
Yeah, sure, mate. We'll just pick random higher mid-table clubs and talk about the midfield. Why not? Crack on.
Yeah, no, it's mainly about the attacking midfielders. I just kind of want to talk about Tielemans and Pratt. They've started the season really well.
Yeah.
And they're both fantastic, like, technical players. I just want to pose the question: is Maddison going to get back in this team? I genuinely don't think he's not good enough.
On current performance, no.
And
but if one of them drops off, yes. But that gives them that option for rotation, I think. But right now, they've got to stay in the team.
He's not getting in the English squad for the Euros because he's not getting the Leicester.
Yeah, that is.
Which shows. Bear in mind, he was almost bought by United. They went for Fernandes instead, and he now can't get in the Leicester team. No disrespect to Leicester. Leicester are a European side, especially after last season. But he's so good. Like, Madson's a great player, but he's not going to get played.
It doesn't seem like it. No, and if he doesn't get any game time, as you say, he's not getting in that England squad. It's annoying because I'm a Maddison fan, but his form did drop off after lockdown. Before the season, he was all right, but after lockdown, it did drop off, and he just hasn't found his way back into the team since. Because Dennis Pratt and Tielemans have both been brilliant, and I think there is certainly a space for him in my team. Because I can imagine one of them dropping off a little bit. Because Pratt wasn't amazing last season; he was good, but he wasn't amazing. Yeah. And Tielemans was another one after lockdown who wasn't very good at all. So you can see a world in which this is the couple of attacking midfielders they go with for the next month or so, maybe. But if, say, they lose a couple of games, Maddison may well get ball back into the team, might score a free kick, and bam, he's back into the team. That's how it is.
He is hoping for an injury.
Yeah, you must be, because he is just sort of sitting, basically waiting in the wings, pretty much, for either one of them to drop off form or an injury. Because it's certainly a question that needs to be posed, because I don't see him get back into the squad in there, in those two in that form. I agree with you.
For him, the Euro's been postponed to the worst thing possible. He could have got in that squad base for 2020, despite his form after lockdown.
He would have probably still started.
Exactly. Yeah. But then 2021, Pratt and Tielemans look like the two. The Belgians
not started for England, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Started for Belgium.
Yeah.
I mean, Belgium
let's not go there. That's a conversation for a whole other time.
Group.
Oh crap! It's all right. We did well against Denmark and Iceland, right? Never mind. Let's move on from the state of this to the final section of this second episode of the second series of Full English. FPL Essentials. This one we both pick a player for the next game week to pick that you've got to have in your fantasy team. You did really well last week. Your pick. It was very good. I'll give you props there. Dominic Calvert-Lewin got a hat trick. Well played, that man.
I said, after you said you got a triple captain Aubameyang, I also was like, I think you should triple captain Calvert-Lewin. No one definitely took that advice.
No.
I bet you no one took that advice.
Well, I've got to admit something now, because I've said on the podcast I was putting Dominic Calvert-Lewin in my team. And I've been called fraud a couple of times. It's fine, I get it. I was putting him in. I still press confirm, and I really regret it now because he was brilliant, and I wish I'd gone back and put him in, but I didn't, and I still haven't. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't. I like him, but yeah. Anyway, this week I picked Aubameyang, and he got an assist. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't like he got pulled off after an hour. He just got one assist. So much muchness, really. So yeah, basically probably gets in the stand this time. So I've basically but I'll tell you who I've gone with. Go with it if you want. I've gone with Emi Martinez. Right, 4.5 mil, which is a steal considering 4 million's the lowest. And in goal, I like Fulham, all right, and I know who you're going to pick, but I think Emi Martinez is keeping a clean sheet against you. I think he's keeping a clean sheet against you, and I think he'll have a really good game. And saves a penalty against Sheffield United. And I just kept a clean sheet as well. I think he's going to keep another one. I think he will. For that amount of money. I have. You can look now. I have actually put him in my team. Yeah, that's where I'm going. A bit out there. I want him. Go on. All right. How are you?
No, I've gone for the guy who's going to score against him. Alexander Mitrovic.
The stress on this game, honestly.
Yeah, he is a bargain. I don't care. He's £6 million.
Yeah.
For a forward player playing Aston Villa this week. He's Fulham's only goal threat.
Yeah.
He's a consistent goal scorer.
Probably definitely overrated.
And I think not only will he score this week, but their next 7 games are not against any of the top 6. So you look as a long-term buy for your fantasy team. He's a great investment. So their next fixtures are Villa, Wolves, Sheffield United, Palace, West Brom, West Ham and Everton. I'm sorry, bar Wolves and Everton, they're all bottom half sides.
Yeah.
That all should probably be bottom half sides. That he probably can score. Even Everton don't even have that good a defence.
Yeah.
And Wolves potentially could score again. So I think he'll get a few goals. We do lack a bit of creativity. Hopefully Lookman's coming in to solve that problem. If he
won't for this weekend.
Yeah, he won't for this weekend. But I think he's going to get a few goals. It's Mitrovic. He if he doesn't turn up, nobody will.
He will do going forwards in terms of games in the future. This game against Villa are keeping a clean sheet, right? It's a bit of a hot take because defensively they're not very good. They're not amazing. But Martinez will be the one. He will make like 8 saves. He'll pull out the bag. I'm telling you. All right, okay. Keep a keen eye on this Villa game. Villa, Fulham. What day are you playing?
Monday.
It's a Monday game. Ooh,
yeah.
I'll wait the whole weekend. Yeah, put Martinez in your team. Don't put Mitrovic in your team. Yeah. Or put Mitrovic in your team, but don't put Martinez in. Don't do both.
Don't do both.
Stupid, right? Do if you want, but you'll be bottom of our league. Yeah. Where am I? Let's flick up the table real quick for our fantasy league because I think I'm doing quite well actually. I've only just joined our Bundesliga one, so I'm a bit behind on that one. But in terms of the table for the A Clear and Obvious podcast, I sit in 6th, which I will take. Where are you, Sam? Sam. Where the hell are you? Are you? Where are you? Where are you in the table? Are you above me? Oh, okay, you're not. You're not doing that bad. Okay. You were trying to scroll past 24. You've only got 24, I believe. Yeah, shout out to Umar. Mate, you're doing really well. He's top by 4 points ahead of James Smith. David rounded up the top 3 with a brilliant name to F2 Lynch, #baller. But yeah, keep doing the fantasy football. We're getting into it this season. We've gone past 2 weeks, which is what I did last season. But yeah, this is a full English. We're gonna keep talking about fantasy football, keep talking about EFL, keep talking about Premier League, and we're back in the same room. So it's gonna be a bit more chemistry, a bit more back and forth.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's gonna be better. We've got a couple of interviews coming up. Don't worry, there'll be one hopefully at the weekend. And it's a good one. Very, very good one. I enjoyed it, yeah. And then we're doing another one tomorrow. So probably when this podcast out, we would have recorded it. So it'll be out whenever. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. This has been a full English, and goodbye.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Bye.